There we go.
This meeting is called to order in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law. In accordance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided. This meeting of October 20th, 2025 was published in the Courier News and Star Ledger and placed on the Borough's website and bulletin board at Borough Hall. A copy of this notice is available to the public, and a copy of the statement shall be included in the minutes of this meeting. Mayor Brian Gallagher.
Here.
Council members, Teresa Bonner.
Here.
Andrew Conti.
Here.
Glenn Deney.
Here.
Randy Pitts.
Here.
Gina Stravic.
Here.
Roger Vroom.
Here. Please stand for the salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can I have a motion for approval of the minutes of October 6th?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Council members, Teresa Bonner.
Yes.
Andrew Conti.
Yes.
Glenn Deney.
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
All right, departmental reports. Early election voting is occurring between October 25th and November 2nd, for those who are not aware. Election day is November 4th. The polls are open 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. And on December 2nd, PSE&G will have an information session right here regarding Division Street. I believe they're going to be doing some construction on Division. Kevin?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. All right, item number 6 is the appointment of William Kale to the Planning Board. It's a 2-year appointment as alternate number 1 for the unexpired term ending on 12/31/26, and I will make that appointment. Committee reports. Andrew?
Historic Advisory Committee met this past week. I just want to congratulate them on their successful weekend journey to the past event. They've also been able to complete the plaque map, so if you haven't been able to find that, I'm sure it should be available sometime soon. I think we have a link to it that shows you all the plaques and historical spots in town, and you can go ahead and it's based on Google, so it's pretty easy to open up on your phone. You can go ahead, walk around town, and even when you're trick-or-treating, and enjoy that. Otherwise, the facade improvements and the frontage at the Borough Hall continue, and we hope to see that finished soon.
Great. All right, thank you. Gina?
The rescue squad has several events that they've completed the past month. They'll also be at the Spectacular coming up, and they have several training events. If anyone's interested in joining the rescue squad, just go to the website and or speak with me or anyone else in town, and we'll be happy to point you in the right direction. The Board of Health has not met yet this month, so no report there.
All right, great. Thank you. Glenn?
Great. Thank you, Mayor. The fire department had a very successful inspection day last Saturday, the 11th, and despite all the rainy weather, we had plenty of people out and enjoyed seeing all the different facilities and the new fire truck as well. Also, for the fire department, the Holiday Lights Parade is coming sooner than you think, December 6th. It will be starting at dark around 6 p.m. And then for the Environmental Commission, we had our meeting last Tuesday, the 14th. We had a Climate Proof Your Yard educational event that was held in September. It was a great success with over 40 people attending. Also, Vanderveer, we did our native plant planting, was on the 6th and the 7th of October. There was a presentation from Flower to the People and hands-on planting with the students, and we thank the Environmental Commission volunteers for coming out to help with that as well. The Environmental Commission is working on finalizing all their comments for the master plan for the planning board. Also, they discussed the value of composting your leaves and possibly either using them for mulch or composting them, which will help provide habitats for overwintering insects and improve your soil quality. Also, on October 11th, busy day, the Environmental Commission planted 186 herbaceous plants and 9 shrubs for the Peters Brook Habitat Restoration Project with the help of over 30 volunteers of all ages. In addition, they would like to thank the DPW for all their help and support with their ongoing projects for that. And then also they're excited for Resolution 296, and they recommend us passing that, which will help with a grant, excuse me, that they've received with additional native planting for the Halsey Street median. And the next meeting will be Tuesday the 11th at 7 p.m. right here. So see you then.
Awesome. You ran out of paper, didn't you?
I did.
All right, thank you. Teresa?
Thank you. So the Library Board of Trustees will be meeting this Thursday evening at 6:30 p.m. at the Somerville Public Library. It is open to the public, so if you have any questions or concerns, please do join us. The Municipal Alliance and Youth Services Commission will be volunteering at the Halloween Spooktacular next Thursday evening, October 30th, handing out candy and information about how to fight addiction. And the Public Safety Committee met last Thursday here at the Civic Center discussing pedestrian safety. October is Pedestrian Safety Month, and I will be celebrating Pedestrian Safety Month by joining RideWise tomorrow between 12 and 1 p.m. on Main Street, doing a walk and talk. We're going to be meeting in front of Amby and walking around. We're going to be handing out information about pedestrian safety, bike safety, handing out bike reflectors, candy bars with little QR codes with information about learning more about pedestrian safety. So if you can join us on your lunch break, please do. That's it.
Great, thank you. Randy?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm excited to announce the Somerville Police Department will begin operations out of their new location at the Emergency Service Facility, 85 North Gaston Avenue, as of this Friday, October 24th at 7 a.m. All contact information remains the same: 911 for all emergency calls, 908-725-0331 for all non-emergency calls. I'm looking forward to the official walkthrough with the chief and staff.
Awesome, great, thank you. Roger?
Just a few reminders from the Recreation Committee. The house decorating contest is the registration, is up tomorrow. Registration is free, so you can decorate your house no later than Sunday, October 26th, in an autumn or Halloween-themed decor. And there'll be a variety of prizes as well as a map of the participating houses, so the rest of us can go and take a look around town. Again, winter programs that are available, we've got RIB Basketball League, grades 3 through 8. The deadline to sign up is November 5th. DST Beginner Basketball Clinic, Friday nights in January and February at VDV, grades 1 and 2. The deadline to sign up for that is December 30th. Again, the Spooktacular was talked about, but it's going to be held on October 30th from 4 to 6 p.m. Lots of fun things to do. Registration is still open for the Turkey Trot. Again, that's on Thanksgiving morning. Meet up at for the former site of Engine Company. And again, all of our registrations are at register.communitypass.net/Somerville. Thank you.
All right, excellent, thank you. Item number 8 is a proclamation recognizing October 2025 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I don't know that we have anybody here accepting the proclamation. Obviously, this is a very important proclamation. Breast cancer is one of the most commonly diagnosed forms of cancer. And with awareness, testing, and aggressive treatment, there are a lot of survivors that can testify to the fact that making more people aware of this is a good thing. So, Kevin, let's make sure that we get that to the appropriate person. Thank you. Next up, we have budget presentation from the Downtown Somerville Alliance. We have Dana Kessel here, the director of the DSA, and here to make a presentation on what's happening for 2026. You're on.
I'd first like to thank the governing body.
You may just want to turn your mics on.
Sorry. I'd first like to thank the governing body for the past, present, and future support and commitment to the Downtown Somerville Alliance. From allowing our events to negotiating reduced rates to the PD provide security for those events, to the DPW, to the Fire Department, First Aid Squad, and Office of Emergency Management for their review of our emergency action plans to keep everyone safe during our events. To the support of the grant writing and fiscal matching of the grants that we've both received and that we are looking to or have applied for. that are infrastructure in nature. Our success now and in the future are in large part because of the council and the community's dedication to our community. So you do have in your folders, in the blue folders, a copy of the presentation, as well as a copy of our proposed budget that was passed by the Board of Trustees for the Downtown Somerville Alliance at our October 13th meeting. So this is going to be a transformative year focused really on some innovation, inclusion, and revitalization, especially after PSE&G hopefully finishes their work on both Main Street and Division Street. We're strengthening how we connect with our businesses and partners and modernizing our organization. So that includes reimagined experiences, some new events, cultural expansion. We're very excited about the partnership that we now have with Fever to bring candlelight concerts to downtown Somerville. We will be the Central Jersey hub.
Bought my tickets already.
All right. Yes, we have 2 different concerts on January 24th and 2 more on February 14th. And we plan on having them 9 out of 12 months of the year. So we're very excited about that. We've also redesigned some favorite things such as a music festival, summer stage, and our Starlit Cinema. So those are all just to increase traffic, to hopefully increase retail and restaurant sales. We've done updated policies and clear processes, stronger communication, just to be future ready for moving into the next stage of our development. And that includes regular feedback loops, ongoing surveys, data-driven decisions in everything that we do, from Placer AI data about how much foot traffic we receive at our events to, data that we get from social media and our different advertising avenues. We're also working on different types of grants and creative placemaking and investing in the downtown's visual and cultural identity. We've recently applied for 2 different grants, the county LAP grant, as well as a T-Mobile placemaking grant. And one of those will be for a mural that hopefully will become a photo opportunity in one of our avenues. Perhaps Giardina is the one that we're talking about right now, as well as a glow-in-the-dark path in Giardina that will increase visibility, increase safety, and of course be a placemaking opportunity that people will want to come and see this innovative approach to art and storytelling. We have made a lot of land roads with working with the Department of Economic Development and reaching out to our landlords and a landlord collaboration. We're receiving reports now from the county on different types of different vacancies that exist so that we can help with the economic vitality of the downtown area. We continue our small business report with a new education series to help small businesses with things like social media and outreach to agencies that may be of help, like NJEDA. And just building ongoing partnerships and sponsorships. We just secured a partnership with the Somerset Patriots, which is a brand new partnership for us that we believe will be very advantageous to our downtown area. So these are expanded growth opportunities, year-round engagement, and just community impact alignment. We also are moving in a more modern marketing approach and with a digital-first strategy. Most people are now consuming their information from social media and from digital platforms. So we'll be moving in that direction with influencers and enhanced storytelling and doing destination marketing, not just marketing around our events, but marketing around what makes downtown Somerville such a special place. Just to give you some metrics, we have reached 29,000 accounts just in May alone of this past year. That's a remarkable 47% increase month over month. We have consistent views ranging from 175 to 315,000 monthly on all of our social media platforms, with a steady engagement of 3,000 to 6,000 interactions per month. So not just people who are following us, but interact with our posts. And we've, continued to grow our media following. Last week, I checked on Facebook, we have 22,000 followers. So that's just an update, just from multiple different things that we've been doing recently on both Instagram and Facebook. And so these are, just strategic things that we've been doing and trying to do and continue, trying to do videos and reels that seem to really enhance engagement with the people that are consuming our information. So this just gives you, the typical, our open rate, our click rate, and our unsubscribes compared to averages. So, we have an excellent marketing, strategy that's really working for us right now. The key takeaways are that we have a lot of social media momentum. We have excellence with our email marketing. We have great foot traffic that demonstrates steady recovery and strong visitor retention. And we've got a formula for growth. So we're moving forward to keep that and grow it. In terms of our budget, you also have in your folders a copy of the entire budget, but summarized here, we have an anticipated revenue of $994,728 with anticipated expenses of $994,014. Our actual assessment revenue is $865,000. With a $25,000 projected revenue increase from businesses that will be opening in 2026. We have sponsorships and events, and we continue to grow those and have meetings with corporations for sponsorships. And then, as I said, we're looking at different types of grant funding. As you probably know, the grants are shrinking, unfortunately, in the latest, economy. But we continue to look for those and apply for them as are applicable to our mission. In terms of the allocations, you can see that we've got a pretty good breakdown in terms of the different categories. 30% of our budget is in salaries, but that's compared to, if you look at a school district, in a services industry, 70 to 75% of their budget is salaries. In the typical nonprofit, it's 50 to 60% is in salaries. We do put a lot of money into our streetscape support and services, which includes trash pickup and gardening. We have 85 different potted plants all along within the SID that have changed out, and they're just beautiful. And so we're happy about that. And then we spend a significant amount, of course, on our events and programming that should drive traffic to our downtown area. You have a very, very detailed version of our budget in your folders. So in terms of that, we're looking to broaden our audiences with our events, broaden our demographics, build stronger foundations, deepen our engagement, and just create smarter strategies. Does the council have any questions?
So thank you. It's a lot to digest. We just got this, so I guess a couple of things.
Sure.
The bond debt, was that retired this year or last year? The original bond debt? Was that, I thought that was a 30-year note?
To my knowledge, it is not retired, although it's not being actively sought out. So right now, according to our auditors, we have to put that money aside for our budget in case it does come, if the state comes and asks for it.
Yeah, I thought it was done at the end of last year.
So there were multiple bond issues. One was for, there were two separate ones.
The larger streetscape.
That was.
30 years ago.
Yeah, that was for parking lots, I believe. I think that
No, there was another, no, the original 30-year note to do the sidewalks, the streetscape. I thought that was retired.
That's done.
It
That's
is?
done.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the borough, the municipality a couple years ago.
Yes.
Picked up a portion of the debt service for the parking lots.
Parking lots, yeah.
And then the DSA does have a debt that came with them on the transfer from Borough Hall. That debt by the state of New Jersey, like Dana had said, is they've been having difficulty invoicing the SIDs for this particular grant, I would say this particular loan. It's a zero interest loan.
Right.
However, Dana's accurate is extremely accurate. Is our auditor is saying whether they ask you for or not?
Yeah, you still have
you
to
need to
set
budget
aside,
for it,
yeah.
right? So we need to keep putting money aside. I've had a couple conversations with the Department of Community Affairs on it, and they just, things kind of get in their way that the same people that are handling other things haven't got to that.
So I guess a couple of things. So I know you and I had a conversation about, the marketing direction for downtown. Downtown obviously is the economic engine of not only Somerville, but it's downtown Somerset County. So the messaging that we are putting out there, we talked a lot about, what is that going to be? What's the promise? And I'm not expecting you to to answer that today, but is that something that is being developed? That,
Yes, that's in the digital first strategy that we're putting forward based upon the research that we've done and what we know is the trends in marketing and advertising, as well as what we're seeing is working for us in terms of surveys that we've put out to the community and where people are seeing us.
well, I guess more from a messaging standpoint in terms of branding identity. What are we to the outside consuming public?
Right.
So in years past, we've been downtown Somerset County. We've been, there's always something happening in Somerville. Where do you see that message in '26? Where do you see it? Because, there's a lot of variation in the consuming public that we have coming to Somerville. So trying to wrap a message to all of those people as an overarcher. It's not that the other ones are old or tired. They're still good. And there's still a promise there for
Yes.
people who come to Somerville. So, for '26, what is that promise? What will people expect in '26 coming to downtown Somerville? And I know it's a very big, broad question.
I actually have an answer for it, though.
Okay.
The answer is that we're not just a place to visit, we're a place to belong. It's an inclusive community where, our business owners become not just the owner of the business, but regulars become, customers become regulars, regulars become friends. Everyone belongs here. Everyone should feel like they can belong here. There's something here for everyone.
Okay. Counsel?
Yes, I'll approach this a little differently this year. I ask this question every year. But you just commented that we need the community to be inclusive. And so that's very important to me as well. Walkability, safety. The sidewalks are not safe. The lack of maintenance has been ongoing. And I've heard all the stories, and it's kind of been a merry-go-round of who's responsible. But ultimately, something needs to be done. I don't know what $120,000 in your budget stands for in terms of cleaning and maintenance, but there needs to be simple things done. I'm not talking about replacing the entire sidewalk. I'm not even talking today about trees, my favorite topic. I'm talking about a block missing out of the sidewalk. Who can put a new block in there? It can't be that hard. Get the block and put it in there. Basic maintenance. Bricks piled up on all different areas along Main Street, especially East Main Street, just piled. Where do they need to go? Do they need to be stored until they can be replaced? Can they be replaced into the hole that's where the brick is missing? When is this going to be addressed, and who is going to address it? And is there money in the budget to address it?
So the only money that we have for what you're talking about in terms of infrastructure would come from grants that we could apply for. Otherwise, as I understand it from my discussions with the borough administrator and our borough liaison, the responsibility for sidewalks falls either on the borough or on the landlord of the commercial property by ordinance. That is my understanding. So no, the DSA has not budgeted for those types of things. If the DSA didn't exist, that would be the responsibility of the borough. So our budget does not have in it, as you can see, we have a very tight budget, the kind of money that would be required to do the type of things that you're asking for. However, we are happy to apply for those grants. We're happy to partner with the borough on messaging around what's happening, on different projects that we can do. We're constantly looking for ways to partner with the borough and to do different projects and apply for those grants. We're in a position to apply because we are a nonprofit for certain grants that the borough would not be in a position to apply for as an example.
Well, the grants aren't here, and there's immediate need for maintenance, and I would wish that you take that to your board and have it addressed in some way. And if we need to have further discussions, I think we need to have further discussions, because if we want to be inclusive, we have to be wheelchair accessible, right? We have to be mobility challenged accessible, people with walkers, and even people who come from Galentine in high heels. I mean, it's simple things that just need to be addressed. And I can't imagine that it can cost that much money to put a couple of bricks in the ground and fill in some holes. And I implore you to address that, because for 3 years, I've heard the same story, and we still have no accountability. Thank you.
So, I mean, if I could just speak to that just a little so that everybody's clear on this, is that if you recall, the SID was born 30 years ago for an infrastructure project. That's how it was born. And ever since then, that work was really turned over to the property owners. However, the DSA's been able to assist some property owners with fixing sidewalks. We used to allocate, when I say we as a DSA, used to allocate $50,000 in the budget to do sidewalks. We were able to do a couple and make them whole and nice and so forth. And they weren't, they were complete renovation projects. Fortunately, we've also had some developers that, as part of their project, has been required to do it. If you recall, Councilwoman, last time, the same amount of time, I recall the question is we did have our enforcement officers go out there and issue violations, and repairs were made that were within the ability of that property owner to do. Since then, we've taken up the grades, which everybody here agreed that we wanted to do, which has exasperated some of that as well. When the DSA, its stakeholders feel that what the DSA is doing is what they want to be done, which would include the injection of new events to some of the traditional events, but infrastructure would have to relate to some sort of artistic rendition, something like what Dana mentioned, where alleyways and so forth. There have been multiple grants that the DSA has applied for. Successful or not, we've done the work for that as far as the board. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, the property owner has some level of responsibility for that. And we could take it up to the next level and identify some of those locations as a result of the tree grades being moved.
This
to
has
look
nothing
at
to
them.
do with tree grades. I'm talking about basic maintenance.
And Councilwoman,
And,
I will
and
tell you.
RideWise has done the walk.
And RideWise provided that information.
Right.
And RideWise provided that information to our code officers, who went out and cited those folks, and also gave them an opportunity to fix them. So there were some repairs made. The problem that the DSA is going to have is funding. It's not cheap. Is funding it is a problem, because we have funded several, which then creates a problem of who you're funding.
So here's what I would suggest, because I agree with Gina. We have a problem. We do. And we're caught in that catch-22 that it is the responsibility of the property owner. But if we give them the full responsibility, we're going to see issues repaired that we don't want. So 10 years ago or so, it was a partnership between the borough and the DSA. There was a portion of money carved out in the budget. You say 50,000. I just don't remember what the number was. And I think the borough helped participate in that as well. And the concept was, over the course of a few years, we would take sections of the street, of the sidewalks, and we do general maintenance. The pavers have to be resanded. The sand's all falling out of them. I don't know if there's a rat slab. Is there a rat slab underneath, Rich? Most of them are not. Yeah, so that's
new
part of the
ones.
problem as well. The new
The-
ones
the
have
new
rat
ones.
slabs, yeah. A rat slab is just a rough concrete base, for those that don't know. So, I think as we approach our budget year, in the same manner that you are, I think there's an ability there for that same thing to happen again, where we can start to carve out a little bit of funding in our capital, as well as a little bit of funding in the DSA's budget. And let's create a static plan that doesn't change. As soon as you finish, over the course, let's say it's 2 years, if we've got $100,000 to do general maintenance, whatever that number is, I don't know what that number is going to be. And after 2 years, you know what? You go back and you do it again, and then you do it again. And over time, we'll have a better maintained sidewalk. We won't have those holes of bricks as we all see, or the piles of bricks which PSE&G or whoever is leaving around the water company. And I think that's an approach that is a little bit more longer thinking. And does it take some of the responsibility off of the property owner? It does. But I think for a reason, because if left to their own devices, they will probably do things in order to repair sidewalks that we're gonna say after the fact, oh, we didn't want that to happen. Trees in particular. So I think we need to be careful, and that's where we have a stake in all of that as well. So I think the idea of coming up with a number that allows us to take sections, a portion of the north side and a portion of the south side each year, and let's see what that number, that magic number, whatever it is, can get us in terms of maintenance. And this way we have it as a rolling, consistent maintenance. And we're not coming back 10 years later when we had the same conversation 10 years ago and saying, okay, well, let's do it again. If we do it consistently, it will become cheaper.
Mayor, can I ask a question? What organization is responsible for going out, looking after what's going on on our main street, in our downtown? I have a business, as everyone knows, for many years. I get many people who will come into my store, because they know who I am, to complain to me. I'll call Kevin. Simple things. The benches that haven't been touched in years, that people are afraid to sit on, or the animals,
Yeah.
do what they do on them. I had a gentleman just last week come in. There were 2 bolts sticking out of one of the handicap paddings on the sidewalk. He does his walk every day. He tripped and fell. One day the Jazz Fest. I'm walking back to my store. As I'm walking, there's a family coming down all excited to see the Jazz Fest. I saw this woman there in the sidewalk. There's not a tree, there's just a pit. The woman fell in the pit. I didn't tell her who I was. I just made sure she was okay. Didn't want her to come back and sue the borough. But she was hurt. Who's responsible for looking over these things?
Well, I think ultimately all of us are. It's part of the as I said before, it's the economic engine of downtown. It's incumbent upon us to make sure that it's well run, and that's doing it in concert with the DSA. It's doing it in concert with us. It's doing it in concert with the planning board, and so I think exactly to that aspect. I mean, same thing. I sat out at an outdoor cafe on Saturday and watched a couple of people trip. So I think we all recognize it's a problem. So let's all recognize that it's a shared responsibility to fix it. And I think ultimately it is the property owner's responsibility. Well, then if it is, let's take a look at the rate. And is there something that can be done? Or can we build it into the existing, because we do have an expansion of the revenue coming in. And it's a pretty significant expansion of the revenue over these past 7 years or so. So, let's, between the borough and the DSA, you're going into budget year, we're going into capital, let's take a look at it. And I don't think it's it shouldn't be a big fix. Going in and sanding, we've done it before, and it was a great relationship that the borough and the DSA had in making this happen. Let's just make it happen again and fix it. So, that's Teresa?
Yeah, so I used to be on the DSA board, and it was something I really, really enjoyed. And anybody who knows me knows that I'm very passionate about promoting our small local businesses, excuse me. And, the main focus of the DSA is to bring businesses to downtown Somerville and bring people to our downtown to boost our economy. And I did notice something on the itemized list here that was a little strange to me, that there's only an allocation of $3,500 for Small Business Saturday, which benefits all the businesses in downtown Somerville. But there's much higher expenditures for International Street Fair, Puppy Palooza, which I'm all for bringing in new, exciting, different events. But, International Street Fair is not, to my knowledge, unless it's something that I don't understand, an event that's going to bring business to the businesses. It's unless I'm not understanding what it is. It's going to be vendors up and down the street of other businesses, which I love street fairs. But I don't know that it's a benefit to our businesses that are already in Somerville. And Puppy Palooza, although it will benefit the pet store and some of the businesses, it won't benefit any of the restaurants, because you can't bring dogs into restaurants. So I'm just a little worried that that the allocations are not going harder with the events that would actually benefit all of the businesses. Small Business Saturday is the day for a small business. I used to have a boutique on Division Street, and that's what we all waited for, was Small Business Saturday. And I feel, just my opinion, as a small business owner and someone who cares deeply about the small businesses in Somerville, that there needs to be more money there. Holiday Jubilee, that's great. Looks like there's a lot of money there. That's another night that a lot of small businesses benefit from. But I don't know. So that's just my, looking over the budget. Those are just my little critiques. But yeah, so that's all I had to say.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I have a question. I was wondering if you have the numbers of attendees to the various events.
We
I know
do. I don't have them with me right now, but I'm happy to provide them.
That would be
We have
great.
all of those numbers through Placer AI.
I'd appreciate that. Thanks.
We're not taking any action tonight, are we?
Well, the governing body of the DSA has approved the budget, so it's an odd situation that it has to be done this way. Both, we had the introduction as well. It does require the Borough Council to affirm this budget. And I do want to make you aware that it's not, the DSA budget is a little different than the municipal budget. Municipal budget requires us to kind of know exactly what we're doing till November 1st until we can move money around. The DSA budget, because of the nonprofit status, can move money around in different areas as the borough, as their governing body sees fit to do if something comes up shorter or requires more. Again, this provides a fairly good guideline for the DSA to follow throughout the year. So your comments that, I want to let you know your comments are taken, and we'll have to talk to the board and we could tweak that. but it's not firm. But from the council side, the council does have to affirm the adoption of the budget.
By when?
Today would be good. Yeah. So if you recall, we used to do this years ago. It used to be next year. And then it's hard to make changes. However, in the last 2 years, the board's been worked diligently to get our schedule earlier. So this is basically the public hearing. Certainly, you could vote for it on the next meeting, just that this is the public portion of the requirement.
Yeah, my sense would be, and I don't know if the council agrees, would be for, based upon the comments that you've heard tonight, to go back and adjust this a bit. I don't think they're heavy lift adjustments, but I think they're adjustments based upon the conversations we've had tonight in order to, to satisfy some of the concerns that, both from an infrastructure standpoint and also from I'll call it a marketing standpoint.
So, in terms of the events, I will just point out that the amount of money spent on an event is very dependent on what types of things that we plan for the event that brings people. So, as an example, with a music festival, we have to provide sound technicians and drum technicians, and we have to provide stages, and we have to pay talent. So hence why something would be much more expensive to run in terms of, rather than other events. For Small Business Saturday, we have a very robust, programming for that day, but we don't need to bring in expensive bands, and we don't need to bring in sound technicians. And so what we have planned for that day, we do have music all day long, live music all day long that day. We do have gift wrapping that will be going on all day long that day, from 11 to 5 anyway. We've got raffles that will be going on all day long. That will draw people in. We've got different types of activities that are going on, an entire bingo game for shoppers. So it's a very, very robust program, but that program doesn't require a lot of money because we're not talking about, like I said, bands and stages and sound tech and those types of things.
No, I think we all understand that there's
Okay.
different expenses with different events. Some are very heavy in terms of cash outlay, and some are lighter, and sometimes the lighter ones bring in more people, and vice versa.
Exactly. Exactly.
We get that. But based upon, I think significantly the infrastructure discussion, again, I don't think it's a heavy lift to go back and then just come back with, outlining, what type of infrastructure investment we can make together, based upon our initial discussions from our budgeting standpoint and then from the DSA standpoint, and let's fix it together. So my suggestion to council would be, let's just defer this until the next meeting. Let's get a little bit more beef on the bone here from an infrastructure standpoint, and then we can move forward.
So just to give you a quick idea of the infrastructure, so we've applied and we have the documents. We spent a significant amount of money to not redesign Division Street, but update Division Street, which would require an investment by the borough, in addition to what the DSA has allocated. Also, the walkways, both of those grants would require an investment from the borough. So just keep that in mind too. If we're successful in getting the grants,
Yes.
we'll be back here talking about who's paying for that extra portion, because there has to be skin in the game of every grant.
Understood.
And yeah.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Everybody okay with that? Okay. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. We are actually going to pull the discussion on item B under number 10, which is the Grove Street East Summit, which will also pull the introduction of the ordinance 2773. I understand there's some additional discussion ongoing behind the scenes to come back with one that's correct in terms of line of sight from the corners. Yeah, okay. All right, that's fine. Item number 10A, 2025 best practices. Kevin?
Yeah, so I'll be very short. The best practices, most of you have been here, are very familiar. We have to do this every year. It's a DCA requirement, and it does identify whether we're fully eligible for all the funding we receive from the state of New Jersey. So I'm happy to say that our scoring is above that number. I believe you need to get 32 points. We're at 50.5 points. The areas that, some of the areas aren't applicable, but some of the areas are, and there's just a couple that we need to kind of clean up on reporting to really maximize the number. The best practices is, like I said, it's budgeting, capital projects, ethics, personnel management, shared services. I did provide you the whole listing of that. It's not very interesting reading, but for those that like to go through it, you're welcome to do that. It is a requirement that we do make this available to the public, and that there's an opportunity for the public comment on it if they wish.
And there's no real action that we have to take on this?
No, the only action has to be at this meeting.
Yeah, so this is something we look at every year. When we began this, I was asking Kevin how long ago we started. This has got to be at least a dozen, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking. And, I think it's put out by the DCA, Department of Community Affairs. And it's an attempt to try to get, again, as Kevin said, local governments to operate in a very efficient, transparent manner. And obviously, we're doing a very good job of that, which is good. And if anybody has any questions, you can speak now or get back to Kevin after you've had a chance to take a look. But what is interesting in this is there's a lot of non-scoring questions, unscored survey questions that the state has put in, which is something a little bit different. We've always had a couple in there, but now they've got a lot in there. And it's just all in different areas. It's in insurance, lead remediation, cannabis stores, so it's kind of across the board.
Mayor, question.
Sure.
The first time I'm seeing this document, and I don't see on it, like, who's the author of it? Like, you said it's best practices, it's not Sustainable New Jersey, is it New
It's
Jersey?
the Department of Community Affairs, Local Government
Okay.
Services.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. All right, at this point, I'll open up the meeting to the public. I'll ask for a motion.
So moved.
Discussion? Roll call.
Council members: Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Andrew Conti,
Yes.
Glenn Denny,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vern.
Yes.
All right, public portion is now open. Mr. O'Neill? Yeah. Please state your name and address for the record, and please address your comments to me.
And just make sure that microphone's on. Yep.
Either I got to get taller or it's got to get lower. Rich O'Neill, 124 West Cliff Street, Somerville. I just listened to the discussion started by Gina on the maintenance of Main Street and DSA. I was around for what I referred to as the Battle of Main Street. This was a very, very, very controversial program to do it all. The town was pretty well derelict at that point. Something had to be done. People stepped forward and made it happen. But a lot of us had concerns, myself included, that we're going to do these sidewalks. Who's going to take care of them? Because you know my thoughts on government. Government takes care of nothing. You build it and forget it, which is exactly what has happened. The deal was at the end that the property owners on Main Street would not be responsible for maintaining those sidewalks. The DSA would install them and maintain them. I was concerned about the trees because I know what trees do to sidewalks. Lost that one. We have trees. They're beautiful. And the sidewalks are lousy. I really think you have to address it. Gina's exactly right. There's tank traps on Main Street. There's one by the post office. I could fall and never be seen again. I mean, it's got to be addressed, and it's got to be done uniformly. And that was the idea of the DSA, fix everything. And the deal was DSA, whatever it was called at that point, would install them and maintain them. They would have a maintenance problem. It never happened. And going back to landlords now, I think is kind of, it's contrary to what we originally agreed to. I was there for all that, and I remember it distinctly. I voted for it knowing that it was going to be the road to hell, and it has turned into that. We've got to address the maintenance. Government does not do maintenance. Government cuts a ribbon, walks away, and smiles. you're exactly right. I mean, I almost fell the other day. Honestly, I was looking at a girl across the street and hit the sidewalk, but that's, at my age, I'm allowed to do
Reg.
that. But we really, it's got to be addressed. It can't be forgotten about. And they're getting worse every day. So please do something about it.
Yeah, I think the will of the council now is that it will be done.
Good.
Thank you. Any other comment? Mr. Hadley?
John Hadley, 8 Laurie Drive. We've seen a boom in apartments being built in town over the last several years. And apartments are great. They bring in younger people. They help support our downtown restaurants and other businesses. At the same time, they bring a different attitude towards the town because apartment dwellers don't have that ownership share in the town. And in the event of an economic downturn, empty apartments and stressed landlords could be an issue. So I'm not privy to what deliberations may have gone on or be going on as to exactly what the right percentage of the town composition should be of apartments versus homes, but I hope that is being given careful consideration. To that end, I wrote the following email to the mayor and council this morning. At the last Borough Council meeting, an interesting presentation was made by the Auto Group, and I understand there's been further discussion of their presentation by the Planning Board in the interim. During the presentation, a number of economic assumptions were presented as the consensus or simply factual assumptions underlying the presentation. At the time, I was a little concerned about some of them, so I Googled them, and there did not appear to be as uniform an agreement on those as was implied in the presentation. This caused me to do a bit more research, and it appears from my limited research that their public presentations may lean pro-development and pro-growth. For example, many of Auto's reports are commissioned by redevelopment clients or local governments initiating new development, which could naturally lead to more optimistic assumptions regarding the impact of development. Now, this doesn't mean their presentations are in any way invalid, and I'm not trying to cast any aspersions on their work or their reputation. I would just like to suggest that before either the council or the planning board integrates any of their conclusions into their deliberations, it would be wise to have a group with a different perspective present a similar analysis so you can compare the results and have a balanced perspective as you consider the future of Somerville's development plans.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Yes.
Good evening. Michael Blair, 154 West Cliff. 2023, I sent an email to the previous council, and then Gina, you responded to my recent one about the problem with the garbage at Brookside Apartments along Petersbrook. And to put it lightly, I'm not satisfied. Nothing's happened. 2 years, a long time. 3 years, a long time. It's actually, as I'm looking up today, it's over 1,000 days. You know, as a landlord, I take care of my properties, and it just frustrates me because I walk along that path each day, and that garbage goes from those dumpsters into the creek. And like I mentioned other times, there was a crib on the side of the creek. There's people, they park their cars. Around some of the benches, there's a lot of beer bottles and such. So, I mean, I've raised it a couple times. I'm sure I can't be the only one, you know, so I'd like to understand what the latest update is.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to close.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Council members: Teresa LeBonner,
Yes.
Andrew Conti,
Yes.
Glenn Denny,
Yes.
Randy Pitts,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Hadley, in regards to planning and development, you're not, I think they're valid concerns. You know, what I took away from that presentation, I wasn't at the presentation, but I did watch it. It did talk about development, but it also talked about beginning to slow development down. That the big rush for apartments is now over. I shouldn't say over. That it's beginning to wind down. In terms of deliberations, you're going to see them front and center on these cameras through the planning board. The planning board has a very aggressive agenda to go through our redevelopment zones, our master plan, our zoning statutes, zoning ordinances. And that's all going to be front and center over the course of the next year. So there's no private deliberations going on behind, let's do X percent here and X percent here. It's all going to take place right here at this table. So come to those meetings, participate. We want that to happen. We want the public to come in. One of the challenges that we've had is we crafted a dozen years ago these redevelopment plans, and then over the course of time, the plans were not updated as developments came in to allow for, to adjust to the impact of what that development has done. They were taken off the shelf, and let's cut and paste and let's go. So that's what we're doing now, is we're taking all of those redevelopment plans and we're adjusting them to what's gone on in Somerville, the impacts that we have from a residential perspective, from a commercial perspective. So that's all going to be very public, and the deliberations will include everybody out there. So thank you. Mr. Blair, I wasn't here in '23, but I believe you sent me an email about 2 or 3 weeks, maybe about a month ago. What I can tell you is we've reached out to the property owner, Colin. We've reached out to them to fix it, to put the retention fences back in, to get dumpsters that look a little nicer than one-legged dumpsters that don't work. And in fact, at last Thursday's meeting, Colin was the recipient of some choice words to make sure. Yeah, I did. To make sure that the property owner addresses this. We can't let it go. And that was a direct result of you contacting me. So that is in the works. Thank you. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate it. All right. Ordinances for introduction. 2773 was pulled for a future date. 2774 is amending Chapter 150 of the Borough Code, Article 3, entitled Seasonal Sidewalk Cafe. This is addressing a few items surrounding the seasonal cafes. A couple of them include the pathway distance going from 3 feet to 4 feet. It also it creates a more stringent timeline for the cafes to apply for that cafe license or that cafe permit. And it also creates I'm not going to call it a fine, but an incentive to get their applications in on time. And what else? There was one other major one that was in there.
The curb line use.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so thank you. Yeah, so some of the businesses have a desire to be on the curb line opposed to be against their property. You'll see this in some other municipalities where they will allow a table or chairs to be set near the curb line. In this particular ordinance, the committee had met and discussed it and felt it would be appropriate if we allowed it, provided that there was no waiter service to it. So if you were going to pick up a hot dog or you wanted to get an ice cream and you purchased that ice cream or hot dog and you brought it out there and that's where you and whoever else sat, that would be acceptable. If there's waiter service that's going through back and forth, they would not be eligible for a curb line cafe. In addition, if they serve alcohol, if they have an alcohol license, they wouldn't be able to move back and forth. And the thought behind that was the person, really the waiter walking back and forth, to eliminate that, where once someone's there, they're there. And you've seen some uses in the municipality where it has been already been desired, like the Main Street cheese, for instance, they have like that. And it does work in those scenarios.
Yep, okay, thank you. Not that we have to, but I always open up on the introduction for ordinances for any public comment. It's not required by law, but it's a longstanding practice that I've had to allow people to make comments. So public comment on the ordinance 2774 is now open. Hearing none, I'll close 2774. Ask for a motion for introduction.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah. Couple things. I like that we're addressing this. I think it's a good idea to get there. I do want to point out that it's changing some of the authoritative review and approvals to the planning board as opposed to the architectural review board. So now creating an opportunity for a public hearing, I suppose, for folks to show up and talk about it if they have any problems with their plans that are or submitted, I suppose. But I'd like to see a few things in here that aren't. One thing that I've noticed that is frustrating to me is, are the sidewalk cafes for one business allowed to be set up in front of another storefront, even if that storefront is open or closed? Or are they allowed to extend their reach in front
If
of
they have an agreement with that property owner, sure.
And that
absolutely.
would show up in this application, and we would review it and approve it, and that would be clear to us as municipality that that's what they have the right to do and not do, right?
Correct.
Okay, so they can't just do that on their own. They can't just decide, oh, because I own this one and I don't have a formal agreement or anything in place, but I own it, it's fine, I'll just be in front of this as well, right? That's not a thing that business owners can do.
No, they would need an agreement with their property note next door, and the thought process behind that was, and that's been allowed, so whether it just hasn't been formalized, but, you know, it could reduce the length of the cafe if they go horizontally. And some of the business next to them may be closed in the evening, and it actually just makes a little more sense. And it's a little, you know, and again, it just adds to the nightlife of the street.
The 4 feet of unobstructed pedestrian pathway, walkway, I mean, I have a father in a wheelchair and 2 kids that go in a stroller. It would be single file through there. You can't really stand next to somebody at 4 feet, even at 2 adults standing next to each other. I'm pretty sure we'd bump into each other trying to stand in 4 feet. I really feel like that should be 6 feet, and I think it would be more appropriate given the width of our existing sidewalks in most places. In the places where it does impact the businesses, because I do recognize that would reduce some of their cafe frontage, maybe they could work with their neighbors.
So, I mean, certainly a try. Somerville is known for its downtown. It's known for its street cafes. The 4 feet, you know, the argument before was it was 3 feet, it was less. The 4 feet is something that we have been strictly adhering to in the last several months. So again, that's, I guess, for a council debate, if you like to change it.
I mean, I get, well, I think 6 feet is a little onerous. I think 4 feet, going from 3 feet to 4 feet, we're increasing it by 33%. The sidewalks all over town are, I think, 3 feet wide. So, you know, creating something that's onerous for downtown, which is what the draw for downtown is, I don't,
Well, are there ADA specifications? Because I would think.
4 feet,
That is it?
Yeah.
Not 6?
no.
It's just better practice at 6 feet because you could have 2 adults walk next to each other. I mean, the point to come to downtown is to walk to the businesses that are there and enjoy that with the folks that you're keeping company with, and to have a wider sidewalk, which we obviously have there, just without the sidewalk cafes. We have a large sidewalk on purpose in that area, larger than the rest of town. We then put in the sidewalk cafes and make it the same width as any other sidewalk in town, so it's less comfortable to walk on for pedestrians. So I hear the points, and I know I'm not going to win it over, but I just wanted to point out that that's probably not the minimum footage that it would be comfortable for folks to walk down Main Street on.
I think it's gonna,
And I think
I
it
agree.
causes choke points, as we've seen this summer and previous summers.
It's
I-
just,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
it's just gonna exacerbate the issue we already have. And we talked about accessibility earlier. It's an accessibility issue. It's also an emergency response issue because it's hard enough to get through Main Street on a Friday night if a rescue squad had to get through a crowd of people. It's hard enough already, and now we're gonna clog the sidewalk up even more. And you know, we're gonna say 4 feet, but you know it's gonna be 4.5 feet. It's gonna be, you know, 3.5 feet, 3 feet, 2.5 feet. The encroachment just appears. So I'm for 6 feet and no cafe on the sidewalk.
I mean, I will tell you, this is, and again, this is the governing body establishing a committee to review this, right? So the committee reviewed it. The committee came up with these more restrictive changes, and that's their recommendation to the governing body.
So a few things. Again, I go back to the fact that every sidewalk in Somerville is 3 feet wide, the residential sidewalks. You have to go back 20 years and recall that we didn't allow outdoor cafes at all. And our downtown was pathetic. There was no foot traffic, there was no vehicle traffic, there was nobody in the stores, there were no stores. So we created something that works. And, you know, I think the borough's done a fairly good job of enforcing it this year in terms of the sidewalk width or the pass-through width. I think they've done a good job. The complaints have diminished. They haven't been there. And I think if you bring this out to 6 feet, we're gonna start to see a big problem with the restaurants, who a lot of them live hand to mouth. It just doesn't make sense. 4 feet width. We've just taken out all of the planters, the grates. We just talked about fixing all of the pavers. These are all positive things, and now we're going to take away space from the very people who are creating success for this town. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So.
Well, I mean, they do have the alternative of moving into their neighbor's frontage. But again, I'm not going to win the day. It's only the two of us that feel this way, so we'll maybe revisit in a later time.
I think the thing that we have to remember is that not everybody has the ability to go in front of another business. Not everybody's going to have that possibility. I think making the sidewalk 1 foot larger is a big step in the right direction. I think that working with some of the businesses, some of the restaurants to not have their planters, and even with the DSA to move some of the planters out of those locations and be more strategic. I think those are some of the things that we can discuss. I think limiting, as the mayor said, one of our biggest economic draws in the borough
In the county.
is silly. I think that I appreciate that we want to walk, you know, with our friends and families next to each other. I get it. I've got, my 3 kids and my wife, and it'd be great if we could all 5 of us walk down the street together. But just like the mall, it doesn't work. So I think what we have to think about here is that people come downtown, they come to sit outside, they come to enjoy it. I think that, again, with what the mayor was talking about before, figuring something out where we can fix the issues that we're having with the sidewalks, fixing issues where our planners are staged by the DSA strategically, working with the restaurants to stage them strategically. I think all of those will be benefits that will make walkability easier. I think getting rid of our highly successful outdoor cafes is not what we want to do.
I think you raise a really good point about moving those planters, and I do see the other side of it now, so I appreciate the discussion.
Thank you.
I can add, the DSA does have an ongoing project through Arterial that's going to change everything we're talking about. And that, I think we should get that out to council once again, because it was years ago and some of you may have not been here. But
Well, we still don't have the grant for it, though, right?
it's in its stages. Kevin could give you more information. But yeah,
I appreciate that, Randy, because I was sitting here thinking, I know we're talking about sidewalk cafes, but it's definitely a bigger infrastructure, going right back to what we were talking about earlier. And trying to solve those problems actually makes this one also easier to solve.
right. Yeah, this the ongoing project would cure a lot of this, or we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Okay. Roll call.
Council members: Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Andrew Conti,
Yes.
Glenn Denny,
Yes.
Randy Pitts,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Okay, item number 2775 is amending the redevelopment plan for the East Central Business District. That actually is being pulled as well. It jumped onto the agenda a little bit early. The planning board is taking this up on Wednesday, so this will be on for the following meeting. Ordinances for public hearing and adoption. We have 2771, which is amending Schedule B of the Land Use Code entitled Lot, Bulk, and Intensity of Development Standards for the POR Zone, one family, to reflect that the maximum floor area ratio shall be 30%. Currently, it is now 25%. because of the nature of uses and people's ability to renovate, expand their properties. Both the planning board and the council have thought that this is a very good thing to do, to allow an additional 5% for the floor area ratio. So I will ask for a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call?
Council members Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Andrew Conti,
Yes.
Glenn Denny,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
All right, public hearing on 2771 is now open. Hearing none, I will ask for a motion to close.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion?
Council members Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Andrew Conti,
Yes.
Glenn Denny,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
All right, motion for adoption, please.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call?
Council members Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Andrew Conti,
Yes.
Glenn Denny,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
All right, 2772 is approving the pilot application and authorizing the mayor and borough clerk to execute a financial agreement by and between the Borough of Somerville and Foundry Urban Renewal LLC pursuant to NJSA as noted for property located at 100 Fairview Avenue, also known as lots 2.0 and 2.01 in Block 50 as shown on the official tax map of the Borough of Somerville, located in the Kirby Avenue redevelopment area. Colin, can you give us an overview of what this is?
Yes, ma'am, this is.
Colin, can you come up to the?
Okay. I'll stand. This is a pilot which is very consistent with other pilots in the town. They applied for it over a year ago. It's been reviewed by the redevelopment committee. It's been reviewed by council. It starts off at 10% of the revenue they generate for 5 years, 12% for another 5 years, and then 15% of the revenue from rent for the balance of the program, which is the maximum that we can do. We estimate that it will generate about $450,000, $460,000 a year when fully occupied, versus if no development took place, we'd be getting maybe $70,000 to $80,000 a year in property tax. So it's a benefit for the town. It helps the developer offset some of the setup costs, and there it is.
Thank you. Okay, I'll ask for a motion to open up the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call?
Council members Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Andrew Conti,
Yes.
Glenn Denny,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
All right, public hearing on 2772 is now open. Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to close.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call?
Council members Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Andrew Conti,
Yes.
Glenn Denny,
Yes.
Randy Pitts. Gina
Recused.
Stravic. Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Can I have a motion for adoption on 2772?
Sorry.
So moved.
Did we have discussion?
We're gonna do that right now.
Yeah,
Second.
That was this,
Yeah.
that was on closing
Yeah.
public, so now
yeah,
we
I just
just,
closed the
Oh.
public.
we just introduced it,
Yeah.
or rather, the motion to.
There's a whole lot of action going on.
Yeah, my head's spinning.
So we have a motion,
I motioned.
and Glenn seconded.
So now we have the.
so discussion.
Yeah, just a question, Colin. I believe it was last meeting, Larry Cleveland was here from the planning board, and he spoke to the need to have the pilots out in front of us earlier. You said this was a year in the making. Is it possible to do what Larry's suggesting and be able to have pilots before we engage in, before the project's underway and built? Or,
So what just kind of an overview before you go on that, Colin. This actually predates some of the council people and myself. These were discussions that were held with the redevelopment committee under the previous mayor. And I asked him about this, and he said, yes, he had those discussions with council as an overview of what the pilot discussions were, so that there was an awareness from the council as to what these pilots were going to be. It predates a number of the folks up here, including myself. So, but, Colin?
Just a brief response to the direct question. State law says we have to know what the project is before we can write a pilot program. So it has to go through the planning board and get approval before we can draft the document. We can agree in principle, as the mayor said, but we can't be concrete and do the pilot agreement until the project exists on paper and has an approval.
So the idea of having the pilot first and being able to negotiate more is not a reality.
Well, it can always be negotiated, but it happens after there is a project legally on the books.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Further discussion? Roll call.
Council members Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Andrew Conti,
Yes.
Glenn Denis,
Yes.
Randy Pitts,
Recused.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Okay, consent resolutions. Any to be pulled off for further discussion?
286 and 295.
Okay. All right, 284 is approving place-to-place transfer of license as noted, Darun Inc., to be used at 132 North Gaston Ave in Somerville. 285 is approving the 33rd Annual St. Patrick's Day Parade for Sunday, March 15th, 2026, starting at 1:30 p.m., and approving request for road closure of Main Street beginning at Grove and ending at Borough Hall. 287 is awarding contract for Spatial Data Logic to provide licensing services in the amount of $24,840. 288 is accepting a grant of $2,288 and approving Chapter 159 from New Jersey American Water for 2025 firefighter and EMS grant. 289 is approving the temporary installation of the Little Food Pantry at various locations within Somerville Borough. 290 is affirming the Borough of Somerville's land use pledge. 291 is approving scorekeepers at a rate of $18 per game for the Rec Department from January 2026 to February 2026. Approving Anthony Smith as an hourly employee at a rate of $25 for the basketball gym supervisor from January 9 to February 28, 2026. 293 is approving place-to-place transfer of license as noted, West Main 53 LLC, to be held in pocket to be used at 49-53 West Main Street. 294 is authorizing the re-auction of a commercial range and oven previously sold on municipal bid. 296 is authorizing implementation of a grant for plantings on the Halsey Street median. 297 is approving annual renewal of taxi driver's license for year 25 through 26. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Council members Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Andrew Conti,
Yes.
Glenn Denis,
Yes.
Randy Pitts,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
All right, 286 is awarding a contract to KM Construction Corp. for Lincoln Avenue Improvement Project, including Cleveland Street and Halsey Street, fiscal year 24 NJDOT municipal aid for a total bid amount of $704,063.25. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Discussion.
Yeah, I was just curious, what is the, I apologize for not getting to this beforehand. Life has kept me a little busy outside of this, but the Lincoln Avenue Improvement Project, what does that include?
It's milling, paving, and some minor drainage. It's a DOT-funded project that was, I guess, it's about close to 2 years old.
Okay.
Between spec writing and bidding, and I think we have to award this by the end of the year.
And these weren't areas that were touched by the PSE&G project, or?
If they were, we would get a credit towards that either way.
Okay.
I don't think they were, but
Okay,
yeah.
just curious.
All right, roll call.
Council members Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Andrew Conti,
Yes.
Glenn Denis,
Yes.
Randy Pitts,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
All right, 295, authorizing an amendment to the contract for final design services for Safe Routes to School along Veteran Memorial Drive East project with NV5 to increase the contract amount by $46,860.51 to a new contract amount of $296,119.67. Do we have a motion?
There's, before you take a motion on that, Mayor, excuse me, there's going to be changes to this resolution, so if it's the council's desire to pull it, it would be fine, we put it on the next meeting.
Okay.
Basically, just so the understanding of this project, this is that veterans project that will go on forever.
It started when I was here
yeah.
in 2017.
So we're very close to, basically what it is, it's federally funded, so I don't want you to scare you out of the numbers, because those are ridiculous numbers at this point. But it's a federally funded project that would include the veterans, the second half of Veterans Memorial Project being done. It's actually pretty close, ready to go out to bid, but due to the federal government shutdown right now, there's really no action taking place right now. The DOT is kind of trying to move some projects. So if, it would actually be helpful for me if we just didn't have this conversation twice, and we just pull it, and I'll be able to get you some further detail on that project as well.
I'm all for that. We'll strike it.
Sounds good.
All right, bills and vouchers, Roger.
I make a motion to pay bills and vouchers in the amount of $1,610,295.64.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Council members Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Andrew Conti,
Yes.
Glenn Denis,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
All right, and I will ask for a motion for adjournment. Mr. Pitts.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.